Hashtag no music, no intro. Man, we could do like a 2-hour episode. With everything going on with the New Orleans Saints, I really feel like we could do 2.5 hours easy. Like to like cover bases on everything. It is 9 p.m. in California. It is 11:15 in Alabama. I can say that my like Twitter has never like every time I open it, bro, like my mentions are just, and I'm not on a Ryan level. I don't got 13,000 followers. I'm not there.
20,000.
Oh my God. But I don't know where we should start. So the last time we recorded was after the Saints Falcons game that should have been a joyous occasion, and at the very end it showed why it was not a joyous occasion in terms of Dennis Allen apologizing to Arthur Smith, who then got fired the next fucking day. We could talk about the pressure. We could talk about Mickey Loomis meeting with the players. We could talk about John Gruden. We could talk about how I had a list I had on a Post-it at work of I was writing down all the players who on social media, at least Twitter, I didn't even look Instagram, who came out and supported Jameis and the former players. I had the list. It was like Chris Olave, it was Michael Thomas, it was Alvin Kamara, AK. Colin Sanders had retweeted the AK tweet. Jimmy Graham, Mark Ingram, former Saint, Lance Moore, Jari Evans, who's on the coaching staff. Like, I had a list of all the people who was backing up what Jameis did. We could talk about the post game interview that Jameis got at his locker room, and Ed Daniels gets blocked for being a very subtle but not very subtle racism type of questions that he was asking Jameis at the time, and how Jameis composed himself and responded and gave a mature, composed answer where he was like, we didn't want to disrespect the coach, but we're gonna stand on business, and we did this for this reason, and blah 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 blah. We could talk about, and I know Cam Jordan wants to get on Twitter and say, "Oh, I'm not trying to be." Nah, bruh, stop. The most tenured person on this team, he was drafted in 2011, so he has been in the season. He has been in the NFL 13 seasons. Did I have that right? Was he drafted in 2011?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. I'm not dumb.
Yep.
Has played 13 NFL seasons, Ryan, or I guess technically 12. And the responses that he gave to the questions that he was being answered at his locker room, to me, is still the most telling fucking thing about what the team thinks of Dennis Allen. He got asked straight to his face, does the team still believe in Dennis Allen? Is DA still the head coach? That's not a yes.
Dennis Allen, head coach, and then with the stuttering, and it's like, sometimes it's hard to lie,
Yes. I said this in the season, and again, like I sometimes say things on this podcast, sometimes coming from a perspective of like knowing things behind the scenes that I don't disclose. We don't want to have a negative podcast all the time. We really don't. We really, guys. I swear to God, we don't. Ryan even put it. Ryan put it in the Discord today. Like, he's like I need something to like potentially look forward to because I don't want to be negative all the time.
I don't, man. It's not my personality trait. They're making it hard. They're making that shit hard.
I don't know where you find the sliver of hope right now with how the Saints are operating, and it's a Mickey Loomis problem, it's a Dennis Lachey problem, it's a fucking Gail Benson problem because she's not getting her hands involved. Like, we can come out and bitch about Dennis Allen all we want. Like, man, DA just being DA, bro. Like,
yeah, just being DA, bro. That's the conclusion I've come to. It's like,
yep,
it's bigger than him at this point.
Oh,
and
yes.
Here's the interesting thing. You know, when you see, we watch the media. People need to pay attention. Pay attention to media coverage because you're starting to see the narrative being formed, being cultivated, being put together. You see the things about, oh, they finished strong. I remember Rep she said the other day, like, things are looking up. They're keeping DA and things are looking up. The team finished strong. Went 1-4 out of 5. You saw the positive things about Derek Carr as he finished. DA in his 45-minute final presser talked about how, you know, the team turned the corner towards the end and, you know, guys faced adversity and they started coming together towards the end, you know, and started playing better. Even though the quarterback's been playing fine all this time, everybody else around him started to play better, which made him look better. You saw Jeff Duncan put out there that, you know, some players didn't handle adversity well or something like that in the middle of the season, early in the season, and they figured it out through the end and they came together. So you're starting to see this narrative come together that they figured it out. They figured it out at some point in the season how to rectify. Nick Underhill in his article, he talked about the red zone woes that they had, you know, throughout the season, that they figured it out. They started the Thursday practice and all that stuff. You know, that looked positive towards the end. So you start to see all these little things put together where they're trying to manufacture hope that, hey, we're on. That's going to be the news reports. Come, you know, June, July, going into training camp. That's going to be the news reports. Look at the final quarter of this past season, and look how they started turning things around. Things are looking up. That's the only hope they could find. Like, there's no other hope they could produce. There's not a player they could draft, maybe a quarterback, but we know that's not going to happen. So there's nothing they could do. Nobody they could sign as a free agent that can inject real hope that you believe that these things are going to change.
And to those like manufactured puff pieces that are coming out, my retort to that would be, well, okay, they out of the 4 of the 5 teams that they beat, and obviously the Bucks they won the NFC South. My retort to that would be, the team that won the NFC South before the season was predicted to be picking top 5 in the draft. The New York Giants are picking top 5 in this year's draft. So it all goes back to this, right? You can manufacture hope all you want. If Dennis Allen's record has shown that he can't beat winning teams or beat good teams, then you like, what type of hope are you actually manufacturing? All you're manufacturing is that the Saints under Dennis Allen can beat shitty teams, but can't beat good teams. If you can't beat good teams, you can't be a playoff team, even in the worst division in football. But as they try to manufacture and create this hope, what they're also going to do coming up in the next couple of months is they're talking about these cultural tweaks. We're gonna change these cultural tweaks.
Tweak.
And they are gonna ship out talented players. They're gonna ship out talented players to show their support of their faith in Dennis Allen, because there are players on the team when you work at a job, bruh, and you have a shit boss, you see right through your shit's boss shit all the fucking time. This is no fucking difference. They're going to ship out more than likely Marshawn Lattimore. I think there's a good chance that Taysom gets shipped out. I don't think that that's a cultural thing. I think that's a money contract thing. But they were trying to trade Taysom prior to this season. So like you're gonna potentially ship out these good players to just justify having a head coach that in 4.5 seasons in the NFL has never taken his team to the playoffs. And going back to the whole DA pressure thing, like I had to cut it off, bro. I had to cut it off. Once it was a question asked about Derek Carr, and the 3 answers he gave about like why Derek Carr is playing better towards the end of the season was he said 1, he was healthy, 2, the offensive line played better, 3, the people around him played better. So you telling me with a straight fucking face for 17 fucking weeks that everything bad and wrong that was happening with Derek Carr was everyone else's fault? Like, and he said the health thing. My question to that was like, well, if he wasn't healthy, then doesn't that fall on you as the head coach? Because wasn't you putting him out there when he was having multiple concussions and he was having all these health injuries? Like, I get a player wants to play, but you're the coach, right? You're supposed to want to lead the team. Oh, wait, the team had a mutiny on you on the field on fucking Sunday, so you ain't leading shit.
Exactly. So and then he went on to say that he thought, the criticism on Derek Carr was unfair this year.
I had already cut it off, Brian. I couldn't do it. I'd already cut it off.
It's like, I mean, you can argue the Bulls were unfair or whatever, but come on now. They weren't unfair.
He's what a 10-year vet. Like this is not a rookie or a second year quarterback. Like you signed him to a 4-year contract where he may get paid $150 million in 4 years. You cannot tell me with a straight face. And man, this is where because I saw some quotes from the presser, like he was talking about like Zach Bond, and like they're like, oh yeah, like he played well, and maybe potentially we'll look at like going away from the prototype, but we're probably going to still stay. It's like, what are y'all doing, bruh? Like the comment he made on Trevor Penning that I read, like almost knocked me out my chair, bruh. He said like something about player development has to do with playing time. I said, get me out of here, bruh.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I wanted to find that. I wanted to find that in the video, but I couldn't find it because I wanted to know if there was a follow up. Like, well, doesn't he have to play to have playing time? Like, doesn't he have to get in on a jumbo set? Tackle eligible, something.
He reporting, bruh. Can he report, bruh? Can Trevor Penning report? This is as bad as. I'm trying to be composed because the wins and losses, like that shit don't bother me, man. But like knowing everything that's going on, and like if you're a GM of the team and you have to have a conversation with your players, the perfect analogy I can think of is like if there's a substitute teacher and they got a classroom, the classroom don't respect them, so the substitute teacher goes run into the fucking principal saying, I can't deal with these kids. These kids are out of control. So then you got the principal fucking walking down and going to the classroom and talking to the kids and saying, hey guys, like what's going on? That should tell you something. That should tell you that if there are leaders on the team that are telling you how they feel to the best of their ability, like this is as close as they've been, like Saints players have been able to voice or show any type of like where I'm looking for opposition, like opposing DA that they can't. Like they're not going to go on Twitter and just go on a tirade, but this is as close as they can do to show what they think. And for Mickey Loomis to just be like, nope, don't see it. I picked DA and DA has to work, and because if he doesn't work, then I look foolish. Like why? Like the Falcons just fired Arthur Smith. Can we talk about the Titans firing Mike Vrabel today, bruh? He took the Tennessee Titans. He took a Tennessee Titan team, coached them that they were an overachieving team to the AFC fucking championship game. They were beating the Chiefs in the playoffs before Patrick Mahomes decided he's Patrick Mahomes and put the team on his back and brought them back. But do you like the optics? Like this, that's the thing for me, bro. It's the optics. You have the Titans firing Mike Vrabel, who, to my opinion, he shouldn't have been fired, right? Like sometimes you're just gonna have a bad season, right? Fires him, and you are staying with the head coach who, yes, he finished 8-7 this season, but he didn't make the playoffs. He didn't make the playoffs last year. And he was a disaster. The disaster in his tenure as the Oakland Raiders head coach. And you're gonna try to like justify it with the easiest schedule with like almost no major injury concerns until like mid-season.
They aren't looking at any of that. They're not looking at the injury, the schedule. Because hey, look, you got to play your schedule. The schedule is what you get. You got to play it. They're not looking at that when I've been saying, if you want to judge your team, you have to judge them against the good teams. Michael Lombardi says the same thing. Because what do you want to do as your team? You want your team to get to the playoffs, beat the playoff teams, and get to the Super Bowl, right? Obviously, only good teams in the playoffs, mostly. Anyway, if you can't beat good teams, then what are you doing? Like, what are we doing here? I was looking at stats today, just curious. And, Saints are 7th in point differential in NFL. It's good. It's a good stat. It's like, oh, okay. 7th in point differential. That's nice. I think it was they're plus 77 or something like that. It's a good stat. No matter where you cut it, it's a good stat. But then you look at it, you look at every team, the top 13 teams, all of them are in the playoffs except the Saints. With the top 13 teams with the highest playoff differential are in the playoffs except the Saints. So that shows you the deception,
Ryan.
This shows you the deception within the stat. Like, yeah, you got a lot of garbage time points, you got a lot of blowouts of bad teams. But when the proof is in the pudding, when you got to face the Rams, when you got to face Green Bay, when you got to face even the Vikings, the Jags even out the playoffs.
The Vikings with Josh Dobbs, who was not starting at the end of the season, Ryan.
When you had to nut up and put the proof on paper, you couldn't do it. You couldn't. That's what Loomis.
The only game that they did, and at that point it was maybe even too late, was the second Bucks game. Because I thought going into that game they had no shot, but they put it together and they were like a prideful team and they showed up. But
they showed up. And as we saw, like, I mean, the Bucks barely beat the Panthers, bro. Like it was.
Did they win 9-0?
I don't even remember the score, but it was looking dicey, bro. It was looking very dicey. Like, oh, are they going to win this game? So we even see that the Bucks are kind of frauds. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to really, like, if you are really truthfully trying to analyze a team and trying to really see how you measure up without blinders on, without trying to preserve your job or preserve your ego and all that stuff because of the hires you made, if you truthfully looking at it honestly, with honest shades on, you would look at those things if you're Mickey Loomis and come to those decisions. But he's not. He's doing the complete opposite. He's looking, hey, my team won last 4 to 5 games. You look at the offensive stats, they pretty much improved over last year in key categories. The quarterback, I'm paying $150 million. Stats are pretty decent, overall for the season. That's all he's looking at. And he's like, oh, hey, good enough. Hey. I was like, oh my God. Hey, it got us looking crazy. Trying to make fans look like we just tripping, like we just wild, right. Like we just like, oh, y'all just being unreasonable. Like, what is wrong with you?
This is what the Saints are doing, and this is what they're doing, and then they're also trying to have the media do it to fans too. They are trying to gaslight the fuck out of us right now.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that's a factor in it that makes it even more infuriating because it's insulting our intelligence. It's what it does to like the fan, right? Like don't like if you just I would even have a little more respect if Mickey Loomis just say, listen, I understand that fans want change for Dennis Allen, but listen here, Bob, and like list it out and just like be upfront about what. But like this whole gaslighting shit, this whole thing about like the culture and this whole we're not dumb. Like we are not dumb. When you have Lance Moore saying exactly what DA should have done when Arthur Smith approached him at midfield, echoed almost word for word what we had said on the recap pod. Like you go out, if you're a leader of men and that you are the head coach of the football team, you put it on yourself. You never throw your fucking team and multiple players of your team under the bus. So the team and organization is trying to gaslight us, but then they're going to call us poor and say that we can't afford going to the games. Ain't that some shit, bro?
It's crazy,
that is some like legit abusive shit. Like if you just break it down, remove like sports fan, remove like sports team. If you just say, oh yeah, like there's this person that's just been gaslighting the shit out of their partner, and then at the end of the day they try to make them feel bad and make them feel bad it's their fault. Like you're like, man, that's a terrible situation. Like that person should leave. Like that. And I get it. Every sports team will go through like their phase of just being like ungood and whatever. But me getting the text message today from a good friend saying that the Saints have essentially become the Oakland Raiders. Oof.
That's what it's like. It's like Mickey Loomis looking at the 14 Raiders like, I want to be like that.
Right. I want to even throw this to you. The crazier part is that every time someone would bring up DA's Oakland experiences, everyone was like, oh, that was a terrible ran organization, and they had all these cap problems, and they had like shit players and blah, blah, blah. All of these excuses for Dennis Allen, right? Then he comes to New Orleans. Now, maybe the cap wasn't the greatest, but the cap was manageable. And the amount of talent that was on the Saints has far outweighed any team he ever had with the Raiders. And in 2 complete seasons, he is by pillar, him and Mickey Loomis tag teaming have reduced the Saints and the winning and the culture and the vibes and everything Sean Payton and Drew Brees and blah, blah, blah put on their backs to instill a winning tradition for the Saints for as long as they did. It is completely gone. And now they're all the talented elite players that they do have, they're going to get rid of. So they are literally becoming the Oakland Raiders. Because guess what? That Oakland Raiders team did not draft well.
No. They did not. And I pointed out on the last podcast, just the irony of the whole culture thing that he brought here to preserve the culture, but now there's cultural tweaks needed, And let me read that.
So what changed in one season, Ryan?
What changed?
2 seasons ago. I put it in our video on social media because I had pulled the piece from Mike Triplets when he was at ESPN of the presser or whatever when Dennis Allen got hired. You can read it what it said verbatim, bro. Like it was all. I'll pull it up right now. I don't know if you have it up, but if you don't, I'll have it right here. I'll pull it up right now. This is also terrible podcasting. Here it is right here. The 8 teams that let go of head coaches, this is Mickey Loomis, I'm quoting, by the way. The 8 teams that let go of head coaches, I think their situations are different than ours. We had our coach retire with a lot of really good things in place already. That doesn't mean that it can't be improved and built upon. But we don't see it as a wholesale culture change. roster change anything like that. That was the offseason of 2022. So then let me read the quote that came out from Florio, little peddling for his Saints source that gave him the news. The Saints are confident that their fortunes will improve with enhancements to the roster, along with some cultural tweaks.
Cultural tweaks.
So, but that doesn't mean it can't be improved and built upon. We don't see this as a wholesale cultural change, roster. So then, what fucking changed?
Please tell me, Mickey. Mickey, tell me.
I know you listening, Mickey. Like you can DM, you can send a DM. Like,
give it to Greg Benzo and tell us, whatever.
Oh, Greg ain't talking to us for shit, bro. I sent a nice professional email to Greg. We didn't hear shit back from him. And here's the crazy part. Like, I feel like, like the Saints like to like portray us as like the villains. Like we're the Saints Block Party podcast, where we're the villains of like, because of all the vitriol that we spew. Like, what vitriol are we spewing? Well, those are direct quotes.
And then Jeff Duncan put this out today, and this is Jeff Duncan, so it's just spoon-fed bullshit. Some segments of the Saints locker room splintered when adversity hit the season. Team officials are evaluating how that happened and what should be done about it. Monday's meeting, he's talking about Mickey Loomis met with the players, like a closed-door meeting with the players for like 30 minutes.
Which is insane, by the way.
Insane from a GM. Monday's meeting was to set the tone for the offseason. Are you in? If not, then you'll likely be out. And Jeff Duncan, according to multiple players, said it was a positive. They came out feeling positive about it. Really?
So you telling me that the GM of the Saints went and talked to the players and gave them an ultimatum of they're either in or they're out, and you're gonna then try to spin that and tell me that that's a fucking positive meeting? Get the fuck out of my face. Like they want us, like they want us to believe like the players left and we're just like, oh yeah, that ultimatum is always a good thing. That's always gonna work. It
always works.
Let me. I gotta say this, and we are trying hard to get Amy Trask on our show. I reposted what she was saying about Dennis Allen. I believe it was like the season that he actually got terminated with the Raiders, because she was doing like a pregame thing with like Jordan Lockenfora and whatever. So I reposted that after Sunday, and then that blew up on Twitter. And so she has a podcast, and just to recap it, and I'm taking this from Nick, who paraphrased it. Amy talked about how DA. So this is his day one, Ryan, as the head coach of the Raiders. Amy talked about how DA called an organizational wide meeting on day one and was a rude, disrespectful, dismissive ass during it. She said she's never seen anything like that. Also, Amy Trask has worked with the Raiders through multiple head coach tenures from 1997 to 2013. This woman has seen some shit, bruh. Like, we know Amy has seen some shit. And when I was getting a little senile, she's seen some shit. She said that she thought that Dennis Allen might learn from his first head coaching job, but after seeing what happened on Sunday with the whole Jameis situation, or not even Jameis, the team going against him, she said that he hadn't changed one bit, and she wasn't surprised at all. Amy Trask, it was the Bengals Rams Super Bowl. Someone sent it to us and we posted it. She was doing a press game for that, and I don't even know how Dennis Allen got brought up for that pregame, and she pretty much said that he's he doesn't have leadership skills. He doesn't players didn't believe in him.
Yep.
Players didn't vibe with him. He wasn't a leader. This woman for years have been telling you, when someone tells you who they are, fucking believe them.
I really suggest people go listen to the What the Football podcast with Susie and Amy.
Yes.
Because you just got to listen to her tell it, because this is somebody speaking freely that's worked with the guy, and she said she gave him the benefit of the doubt. Poor opening meeting, okay, what have you? It happens. Even after that, she said, and one thing that stood out to me was she talked about the lack of energy and passion that Raiders players had, at practice and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, it's so familiar. It's like I'm hearing the same thing. The same thing. And we supposed to believe that they figured it out. They figured out this.
And the crazy thing is, we saw it how many times this season in games where they came out flat.
Flat,
bruh.
Flat. So many times. In key games, big, important games.
Big games.
And the irony of all that is whatever culture it is that got them to come out on fire the last couple of games, to come out against the Bucks and all that stuff, they got to ship that out. Like, that part of the culture is shipping out. That's the irony of the whole thing. It's like now you got players, the young players, Alante and Olave, stuff like that. Those players didn't get to come up with the Chris Olave, the older. Chris Olave, you got some Michael Thomas experience, thank God. But he about to get shipped out. You know what I'm saying? Like, how's that? Like, you say, okay, here's a great leader for Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, da 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 da. We about to get his ass out of here now. So what example does that tell you?
Here's something that's been on my mind, and I haven't asked about it because I don't know. It's one of those things like that life lesson, like don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to. I have not reached out and touched base to see like what the probability of a Chris Olave trade happening this offseason. But like, would it be surprising? Honestly,
not to me at all.
At all, bro. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm not saying I've heard. I'm just saying that the possibility, because I'm following the tracing, right? So they're trying to make examples and martyrs out of everyone on the team who may have disagreed with Dennis Allen, except for maybe Taysom, because I think that the Taysom thing's weird too, though, because yes, I think some of it is a financial aspect to it, but what I said earlier this season, I'm not going to redact it. Like, the whole the whole thing about Derek Carr telling the team that he did not want Taysom coming on the field taking snaps for him, that was something that happened. Like, I'm not going to come on this podcast and say shit that didn't happen. So while some of it is the financial aspect, and I think that it is, if Taysom does get shipped out, then for them, they're killing two birds with one stone, right? Because getting some cap relief, getting a draft compensation, and we're making our meddling quarterback we're paying happy. Like, all right, I can tell you what, I can already read the offseason playbook to you, bro. They're gonna bring in Hunter Renfrow.
Yep.
Maybe they'll bring in Joe Lombardi to the coaching staff.
Do you believe the Gruden shit?
Here's my thing. Why did they meet with him right after the season? Of all the things that probably was pressing to do after the season that they just had, one of the first things that they go do was they go fly to Florida to meet with John Gruden. So yes, I do believe there's a factor to that, which is hilarious because I don't want to say aside all the things that come with John Gruden, just sticking with football just for right now. John Gruden couldn't stand Derek Carr. And I'm not saying that he would be offensive coordinator, but it's like you're going to bring in a head coach who coached Derek Carr the longest, got the best out of, even as a head coach that got the best out of Derek Carr, still cannot stand Derek Carr. Think about that, bro. That Ryan. Derek Carr's best season before he got hurt and was like looking kind of borderline like an MVP that season. Even at that peak before he got hurt, that offseason, what was it? It was the Derek Carr trade rumors because John Gruden was not sold on Derek Carr. What does that tell you?
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And that whole Gruden thing is just fascinating to me because Gruden is not like a share the toys type of guy, like the kid that don't want to share the toys at daycare or whatever.
He don't like group play. Oh, what?
Nah, he don't like that. He don't like that. And it's interesting to me that DA would put his job in jeopardy. Honestly,
right,
like that, because that would put his job in jeopardy. Because it would be just like when Sean Payton hired DA to kind of peek behind the shoulder of Rob Ryan, and now, I don't know what kind of relationship Mickey Loomis and John Gruden have, but I tell you what, John Gruden will be cultivating that relationship while he in the building, for sure.
Littlefinger,
if he ain't already. Exactly. Just like Littlefinger.
Anytime he got a little free moment to talk to Mickey, hey, Mickey.
Mickey.
So, he's like, you see what these niggas doing on CNN today, bro? Listen,
emails, bro.
It makes sense to me from this perspective. Going into next season, this is assuming, I think Dennis Allen knows he's on borrowed time if he does not produce. Right? So he is a desperate individual. So if it's like, even if I'm bringing in someone like John Gruden who may try to wade the waters and try to steal my job, if it leads to the team winning, then so be it. But that's all that. It's the same pattern though, right? There's this desperation to win. Dennis Allen also showed us who he was as soon as he got hired, and then they went after Deshaun Watson, right? It's the desperation to win. And he knows he is going to be under a microscope starting next season. Not that I don't want to poo-poo it, but when you got the city trying to put billboards up to fire that man, bruh.
And the thing you talk about the desperation to win, it's funny because it doesn't seem like he knows how to win. You know what I'm saying? What he views as how to win is bringing in a certain player, this or that. It's so bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? It's really drilling down to see what's the issues with your team. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't think he has that in him.
You have to. You texted me this last night. Assuming you were watching the national championship, and you were just like, man, it's crazy how when Jim Harbaugh goes to a team, you and you see and you can tell it's a Jim Harbaugh team.
You can tell, bro.
So I made the little analogy when we were the little preview for the national championship. I said it reminded me of the Saints and it reminded me of the Niners, just the styles, bro. High flying offense, just rugged, tough, physical defense, and that's essentially how the national championship played out. Except for the Huskies didn't have Drew Brees because he made up for so much of that team when that game happened.
Right.
When you play against a Jim Harbaugh team, you know what to expect. You play against a John Harbaugh team, you know what to expect. You play against a Mike Tomlin team, you know what to expect. I was going to say the Bills, but they're a little too up and down for me. But if you're playing against a head coach, a Mike Vrabel team who just got fucking fired, Mike Vrabel might have not the best defense. He may not have all the players on defense. That team going to be physical as fuck, and they are going to be tough, and they are going to try to bully you all game.
Dennis Allen got to win 31 straight games to get to the same winning percentage as Vrabel. They played about, they both coached in about the same amount of games, like 60 games, 61 games. This guy got to win 31 straight just to match Vrabel. Who got fired today? Got fired.
Can we also talk about the quarterbacks that Mike Vrabel has had in his Titans tenure, bro?
Come on, man.
So when you have a head coach that's worth the salt, they put their imprint, they put their identity into their team, into their organization. It's a trickle down effect. It's a top down effect. I'm trying to say all these corporate jargon words. Hopefully, Mickey Loomis can fucking get it through his fucking thick skull. But it is a way that you're like, oh shit, we playing a physical fucking team. What is the identity of the Saints or the Raiders under fucking Dennis Allen?
He couldn't answer that. Catherine Terrell hit him with our question, with your question.
Yep. What has the team done better?
What have you improved on this year? And he hit him with that little, well, take the ball away. Take the ball away.
That's everyone's first go-to, bro.
Getting takeaways. Okay.
What else?
He was struggling too. He was like, damn.
Yes, nigga. Because yeah, I know, but that's why I've been asking it all goddamn season.
He was like, we went 9-8. 2 more games, one.
That's what he said, bro. And the way he said it, bro. Oh my god, I hated that. Oh, bro, I could not watch that person. I was done. I was done.
This is hell, man. This is purgatory. It's not hell. It's purgatory. It's purgatory. Hell is going 2 and 14, 15, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's hell. But purgatory is like you're stuck in this wilderness, in this abyss.
That's why you said hell is like going 12, like 2 and 15 or some shit like that. Like, to me, that's not hell, because if you go 2 and 15, then in and of itself you're increasing your ability to change the franchise with the franchise quarterback if you get that pick right. And the head coach at that point don't matter. Like if you can get that, like at least there's more hope picking top 3, top 5 of changing the franchise like long term. But to me, and it's not where like the team is like the wins and losses. This is hell because of the entire operation of how the front office is doing things.
Right. Exactly.
This is hell because the main reason, not wins and losses, none of the shit in the locker room. The main reason that Mickey Loomis is not going to fire Dennis Allen is because he can admit that he got the hire wrong. That's hell. Because then that means that the players are suffering. The players that you draft and that you're paying money, and I say suffer, I mean, they're getting paid very, very handsomely. Let's get that right. But like, if you go from if you're working for a great supervisor, like the best boss in the world, he may be a little crazy, he may be a little psycho, but he got your back. You know that he's going to get the best out of you. You go from that, you just start working from a dude who doesn't know two shits. That is depressing. I can guarantee you. I would love, and I know he's not the type of person. I'd love to get AK on the pod, bro. Just because for someone who is as football intelligent as he is, to go from Sean to DA, and I get DA, but he's a hell, bro. Hell, like, bro. I listen to DA pressures, bro. He don't even sound competitive, bro.
Don't even, bro. It's just. So,
like, to me, that's where the hell comes from. It's the blinders over the organization's eyes.
Right. Exactly. And look, I'm saying, we ain't far from hell. It could get real ugly very soon. It could get real ugly very, very soon, bro. And you're going to have the same. And here's the thing. I could see if we was a middling team and we got 40, 50 million in salary cap space. Team is maxed out to the max, beyond max. Like they maxed out like they about to go to the Super Bowl. No, we are so far from that. And that's what's really. And you know what I was thinking? I was like, man, I really love that the players did that in the Falcons game. they'll never admit that it was an act of defiance.
No, they would never do that.
They'll never admit it, but it was, and they put the spotlight on DA. From a national perspective, because nobody was talking about DA from a national perspective. It was so annoying. I'm like, but y'all look at this dude, and they finally put the spotlight on him. And look, a lot of people are focusing on Jameis Winston, Shannon Sharp, and Rich Eisen, and all of them. It's like, oh yeah.
Oh, but did Rich Eisen say something? I didn't.
I didn't listen. I know he had like a big rant about it, but I didn't really focus on it. But it did. Everybody that's smart enough looked at him like, yeah. Jameis shouldn't have done that, blah blah blah. But damn, the team deciding to do that, and DA, it's like, ooh, that something ain't right. Like something ain't smelling right in the kitchen over there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just glad that that's out there now. That's out there.
Yes.
And and we know the Saints, like, as much as they like to be like, oh, we don't pay attention to the outside, we know that's all they do. They believe in perception. They are,
bro. They gotta have like a whole department. Like they got two people just. I know it's a job fucking description on the pay books, bro. Perceptions investigator. But yes, I'm glad. And here's the thing: anyone who got asked about it, Jameis, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, they didn't deflect from it, bro. They said, yeah. And then I kept seeing like, oh, well, if they were going to do that, then they shouldn't have done it at the victory formation because that's kind of cheap. And they should have. And I said, and I was like, dummies. Even like Mitchell Schwartz was like, oh, dummies. The only way that it was going to work was to do it after the victory formation, because if they would have went out and like audible to like a regular play, the Saints still had timeouts. Yeah. DA would have fucking taken a timeout and then sit Derek Carr out there, and his happy ass would have kneeled, even though he doesn't like kneeling. So the only way that would have worked was it to be done how they did it, because it wasn't. If it was a clear, yes, he's told us not to do this, we still doing this shit anyway. And if they had went out there in a regular formation, then that wouldn't have happened. So can we get past the whole victory formation? Can we get past how it was cheap that the Falcons? Can we just put Jimmy Graham in the Saints Hall of Fame just right now? Like I need him in it right now, Ryan. Right now.
Falcons, why are we trying to protect their feelings? Why?
I mean, the Saints head coach is trying. The Saints head coach is trying to protect the feelings of the Atlanta Falcons, Ryan. What? I still can't believe it.
I can't believe that video. I keep watching that video, bro. No grown man walking to me cussing me out like that, bro. It's not happening. It's not happening. And then I'm gonna be like, "Hey, man, hey,
relax, hey, buddy, that was on them, man. Like it wasn't. I didn't do anything,
bro. Rizzy like,
be a leader, man, bro.
Rizzy like, what's him? Let's go.
Thank you.
Let's go. Let's get it on. Like, come on.
That's what a head coach, like, that's what a leader does. Like, even if, like, listen, to be fair, like, I kind of understood where, a little bit where Arthur Smith was coming from, and so I understood, like, why he was upset.
I mean, dude, but, like, he knew his job was done, bro. Like, I completely understand his feeling. I completely understand it. Like,
man was stressed, right? Man was stressed.
It's just real victory formation time. I completely understand where he was coming from. I get it.
Even if he was in certain ways justifiable, for Dennis Allen to cower. Also, keep in mind this, like that clip, like everyone saw that. So not the team already. Most of the team I wouldn't say most, but a good part of the team already doesn't believe in him. Then you see him getting bitched by the opposing head coach, who also lost his job the next day in front of all the hoes, and you want to try to ramp me up to go out and put my body on the line and get CTE and play football. Get the fuck out my face, bro.
Please.
Out. Get me out of here.
Please.
I can't, bro. I can't. Oh my God. I I'll we'll leave it at that. Like I said, we literally we hit the 50-minute mark. We literally could go on and on and on, and it's just I'll end this and I'll say, like, this team, let me reword that. This front office has really taken like the hope out of hope season. Like when a season ends, there's like, oh, maybe like let's see who the free agents are. Let's
get a defensive man. Maybe get a little running back.
Oh, also, I completely forgot this from the DA presser of him like basically calling like Cam Jordan washed and old as shit. Which listen, he might be, but to do that in front of the he just I can't vibe with him, bro. I can't stand that man, bro. But like I can't even get excited. Like I'm like, oh, maybe like we should I think we still might follow through and do the Saints Block Party podcast second annual draft party. A big reason is like we got like 15 Patreons when we did that party, bro. So we might just have to do it for financial reasons, bro. But like I can't even be excited to like about the draft, bro. I can't be excited.
I'm trying, man.
The only thing I'm like, oh, well, maybe like because all these quarterbacks and like all these like these edge rushers and receivers, maybe someone like Brock Bowers could fall to 14, which I could potentially see. And I'm like, that point, I'm like, because at that point it's like you drafting for the future. You're not drafting for anything regarding this regime at all. I can't even get excited about potentially them drafting Brock Bowers for one of the best tight end prospects that's ever come around.
It's sad, man. It's so sad. Got the Senior Bowl invite. I'm like, unless I can get my hands on Loomis again, bro.
Bro, I would tell Jay, I say, hey, I gotta go. I'll be back, but I gotta go. I don't know. I have an even better question for you. Do you think there's any changes coming offensively?
I don't know.
Like is Pete go get?
Because here's my thing. Like, okay, Gruden, okay, but like, do you really want to? You said there was all this progress with the offense towards the end of the season.
So mess around with the continuity.
Yeah, like, do you really want to do that? Because Pete was a good scapegoat through most of the season, but
oh man, they was ringing that scapegoat out hard, bro. Can we just give? I want to give some appreciation to Pete Carmichael right now. I know me, you, we've been hard on Pete. The Saints fan as a whole have been hard on Pete. I realized, I think it was like after the Texans game when I got some news of like overall Pete's been fine. And a lot of the things that happened this season, a lot of them, like at least specifically earlier this season, was not Pete's fault. That was a lot of like Derek Carr trying to freelance and trying to look like he was like Patrick Mahomes and just changing the plays and changing and all that. And what was called was not being ran, and then what he changed it to was not being communicated. And Pete Carmichael has been the perfect example of a man who has asked to calmly quiet quit and say, hey, I ain't the guy for you. I'll work on the staff. I'll slot in the cut. And because of, I guess, loyalty, right, and not wanting to leave the Saints in a lurch, he's like, all right, I'll be OC. So he was OC last season. They wanted to pivot from Pete this offseason, after the Dalton and all that season and Pete again. Well, first they thought they were going to be able to pivot from Pete, and then they tried to schedule some offensive coordinator interviews, and no one called him back, or they got called back. Greg Olsen said, "You know what? Let me go coach Geno Smith instead, and take less money in Seattle, bro." No, I'm good.
I'm good.
He had worked with DA. He had worked with Dennis Allen before.
Yeah.
Yep. So they couldn't even. I'm like, has someone like been maybe going through a divorce, like going close to a breakup, and they just think like, ooh, about to get all these hoes. Like, I'm just about to get all these numbers and just be fucking all. And then like the divorce finalizes, and it's like no number. Like, oh shit, like just nothing, bro. Just in the living room, just sad, just no one to talk to. That was the Saints, bro. And so they were like, hey, Pete, can you come back? We don't really have anyone. So again, because of a loyalty, this man was like, you know what? I don't want y'all in the lurch. I don't want y'all to not have an OC. He came back. It was very easy for like the Saints and us as fans, I think, to a degree, to like paint Pete as like this. Like, is Pete a great offensive coordinator? Absolutely not. But
nope.
Is he at the very least serviceable? Yes. So I don't know what's going to happen with Pete Carmichael. I don't know if he's going to take a less role. But I also think that they are probably still trying to like call like some young coaches to be added to the offensive staff. And I think those young coaches are like, let me see what's popping on over here first.
Right.
And then I'll get back to you. We become that team. We can become that team, Ryan. Because when Sean Payton would reach out to ask the coach to come to the coaching staff,
no question.
Done.
No question.
But now we got young coaches. Like, these are not even coaches that got ilk yet, bro. Like, they young.
We get other team trash. Just nobody else wants you. We'll take you.
Okay. How the mighty has fallen. So I just wanted to just apologize to Pete Carmichael for
sorry, Pete.
And I didn't even say this during my little monologue. This man had every fucking opportunity all this season to throw people under the bus. He could have thrown Derek. He could have thrown Derek Carr under the bus. He could have thrown Dennis Allen under the bus.
Once.
Didn't do it once.
At all. Like, not even close.
And I respect that. He said it's on me. He said, put that on me. It's on me. And we joked about it, but he said it's on me. But you have the head coach throwing Chris Olave under the bus for running the wrong route when he didn't run the wrong route. You have the head coach throwing the almost every teammate who decided to go and do the victory touchdown for Jamal for just give him a touchdown, throw them under the bus and backed it over multiple times right after the Falcons game.
And many other players, Juwan Johnson, Alontae Taylor, so many. He's thrown players under the bus publicly. And look, I'm not saying, coaches shouldn't just be honest and talk about,
correct. Yeah, for sure.
But be have some equality with it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there it is. Come on. Like, if you're gonna throw other players under the bus, then why are you not criticizing your quarterback when your quarterback playing like shit? Because you picked him.
Exactly.
And you know that if he looked bad, that means you look bad. So you're going to do everything that you can to just, no, it's everything else. That's not Derek Carr. It's not Derek Carr. It's not Derek Carr. One last thing before we go, because we hit an hour. Pro Bowl gets announced. Pro Bowl, and I know the Pro Bowl's a joke largely, but I'm just making an analogy here. Pro Bowl, all pro teams, I'm sure, are going to come out soon. Do you remember? I'm going to say back in the day, because it wasn't that long, but you remember back in the day, like the tweet would come out from either Adam Schefter or sometimes Nick would put it out of all like the little like incentives players would need to hit on the Saints to like reach certain incentives for the season, bruh. Does that still even happen with the Saints anymore, bruh?
I don't think so, man.
Like, so y'all got someone in charge, like, and this is the type of person that Sean was as a coach, at least, that if a player was short of that incentive, pay it out anyway.
Yep.
We don't even have players getting close to hitting incentives no more. Like, it doesn't even get reported on because no players. I'm not saying I shouldn't say none, but it used to be a list, Ryan. It used to be a list of It used to be a list of players that would be playing in the Pro Bowl. List of players for the Saints that are on all pro teams.
Go on, bro.
Not no more, bro. Not no more.
It's crazy.
And then, you know what's going to happen, bro? Marshawn gonna get traded to like a team like the Lions. I'm not reporting anything, by the way, but Marshawn's gonna get traded to like a team like the Lions or the 49ers. AK might go, who fucking knows? And they go look stellar, bro. If AK gets traded, he is going to have, as long as he goes to a good creative team, he gonna have that Christian McCaffrey fucking that look to him, bro. Yep. Just glistening, bro. Just glistening.
Yep.
And Kendrick gonna be hurt by week 3, bro.
Hurt, bro. But hopefully the next time I'm gonna try to pull up some positives, man. I'm gonna pull up some positive things to talk about. Players that are pointed up, arrows pointed up, or something like that, man.
Are we just doing just pointed up? No down arrows?
Oh no, we're gonna do some down arrows.
Oh, okay. So you just want just some positivity, though.
Some positivity, bro. Gotta do something. It's the off season now, man.
Just have our listeners just driving in the car, just stewing, bro. Just stewing. Walking into work mad as hell, bro.
Man, as hell, man. People been, man, it been hot, boy. And it's just crazy. Coming off a blowout win over the Falcons, and TL been hotter than ever, bro. Hotter than ever.
Not like a stomping of the Falcons. How do you, as a Saints head coach, fuck that up? How? It shouldn't be possible.
Shouldn't be possible.
But we wanted to get this out there because we just want, like, we didn't want to wait too late during this week. We just wanted to get it out there, and everything. We are gonna be having our YouTube live show this week, but to know when it's going to be, you either have to be a Patreon or at least subscribe to our YouTube channel. So please subscribe to our Patreon. Subscribe to the Patreon. Just $1 a month gets you in there. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and you get the notifications as well. We know when it's going to be. We're going to put in our Discord when it's going to be as well. But it's the off season, so we kind of know what the ebbs and flows are when it comes to the off season. So sometimes our listenership goes down and things like that happens, but please trust us and believe us. We are going to be putting out a weekly show and doing a 30-ish minute episode live show on YouTube every week. So we are still here. If things are popping off like free agency and stuff like that, if there's breaking news, and I think people should prepare themselves for like a lot of breaking news. This still coming off season, bro. Like, I think it's going to be we will obviously do our emergency podcast as we've done in the past and things like that. But yeah. So enjoy life. Like, it's
enjoy.
I know listening to this podcast, people are not going to be like excited, but I will say this, right? I thank God I emotionally disconnected. Like, thank God, man. Like, I could not imagine how I would be right now if I hadn't, knowing everything I know, that's what's going on. I'd be one to fight someone every day, bro. every day.
Thank God! Thank goodness I did that.
And if this can't help, like if the no call wasn't it, if this can't help you get past like that, like just keeping that like separation of like not letting what the team does like affect your emotional thing. Like, to me, like all this stupidity that they're doing, like I'm just like, all right, like we'll see what happens in a season or two. DA will likely be gone. Maybe Mickey will be gone. Like, maybe not. Maybe, but like, it is what it is, man. So thank y'all so much. We know we went long, but we just had a lot to talk about. Thank y'all for all the support. We truly mean it. We are going to hopefully try to get some guests on as the season's ended and try to spice some things up these next couple of episodes during the off season. So be on the lookout for those. But thank y'all so much. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We'll be back next week. We'll be back for the live show later on this week. So be on the lookout for that. With that, we're out.
Peace.
Denim is in demand at Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston. Get cash on the spot for everything denim. Bring in your trendy and classic styles of gently used name brand denim. Get paid for your denim shorts, skirts, jackets, jeans, and more. We're looking for denim that is blue, black, or a bold color, and jeans in styles like mom jeans, bootcut, baggy, flared, and ripped. We want everything denim. Sell your denim for cash at Plato's Closet today. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.